What's up, YouTube? I feel like I've been neglecting you a little bit. I don't have a whole lot of subscribers on here, and it's because you guys don't get any original content. Why would anybody come to YouTube if there's nothing over here that you have already seen? So, this is an original video. This is a video you're not going to see anywhere else, and I don't even know what I'm going to talk about, but I definitely got to work on my lighting situation. We'll get that figured out. I'm not a great video person. I'm here to teach you guys about lawns and landscapes. I don't need to be good with the video. The information comes from up here, and it got up here from watching a whole lot of educational workshops and attending a whole lot of events and being out in the field and experiencing stuff firsthand. And I think today what we should talk about is let's just go back to the beginning. I want to tell you guys my story because it's written on my website, but I've never really got a chance to share it with anybody. And I think it's a pretty cool story in hindsight. I was a college student. I had just moved about 3 hours away from my hometown, St. Louis, down to Springfield, where I still live. And my first semester down there, I made good buddies with a guy across the hall who happened to went to the same high school I did. It was a pretty big high school though, so we knew of each other, but we weren't like friends. I mean, I don't think we had any, we weren't not friends. We just didn't associate with one another. But through college, we became really good buddies, pledged a fraternity together, and long story short, there was an ice storm that hit the town the following year at the very beginning of the spring semester. So as we were all coming back from winter break, basically school was shut down for a week, and the city was declared a state of natural disaster. Like, we actually had to get federal government money to address the situation, because you could not go down the street like 3 houses without a chainsaw. Like, unless you were on foot and you were going to jump over the trees by hand, you had to bring a chainsaw with you, because you had to cut trees all over the road. I mean, everywhere you drove. And I literally ended up cleaning up tree debris for 2.5 to 3 years after that incident. And that's how I really got my foothold in the business. There was just like more work than you could shake a stick at. And I really knew nothing about it. Didn't know how to run a chainsaw. I mean, I learned. My buddy was very good at running a chainsaw, taught us the bare basic bones. There was no instruction on wearing chaps. I think we wore safety glasses, but hearing protection, nah. Helmets for any branches we were trimming over our head. We didn't wear that stuff. I learned that stuff through the ISA and through the training from the ISA, and I'm super grateful for the training that I learned there. I also learned a lot of stuff through the Ozarks Technical Community College, and they had a landscape program over there. I think the name of it's changed, but it was like turf and landscape management whenever I was taking it. And I'm really fortunate because, first of all, I had the opportunity to get my undergraduate and my graduate degree. But after those were completed, I already had my business for 5 years, and I just didn't feel like I knew enough about what I was doing. I had that great opportunity. I made a bunch of money off of just doing grunt work, and then we mowed a bunch of grass. But there was so much to learn. It seemed like, you could treat yards, and there was really good money in treating yards. You could do irrigation systems, and there was really good money in doing irrigation systems. It turns out there's really good money in just about everything but mowing grass. And that's just because everybody has a lawnmower, and you're competing against 12-year-old kids who have no overhead. I mean, now, not really. There comes a point where a customer's paying you as an expert to be taking care of the grass, and that's kind of the level that I'm shooting for at this point. And that's what I'm trying to create for my customers, is just a superior quality across the board. Superior quality mowing, superior quality irrigation service, superior quality lawn treatments, landscape design, installation, just the whole nine, the customer service experience, the system. I want it all to be just a a better experience for everyone, because I feel like that's where we've failed our customers as an industry, is in providing a smooth experience. Scheduling's a nightmare, and I get it because, materials are all across town. Even when you use a place like SiteOne and you get everything from them, if they actually have everything when you need it, it's a miracle. I mean, and nothing against SiteOne. I've not been a fan of them since they moved in. They kind of jacked prices up quite a bit. Maybe a little bit it was the economy and it was bad timing. But I don't know. I used to do a lot of business there, and it changed over hands of management a couple times. And all of a sudden, one day, my prices were double. And you can't really afford to do that to a business that pre-sells stuff, 8 to 12 weeks out, which is what we do. So, I'm kind of in a bind when they're jacking up my prices, because I'm not going to eat that kind of increase for 8 to 12 weeks. Like, it would put me out of business to do something like that. So, they had their excuses, but I had another supplier that was beating, not just matching, but beating their old prices. Are they still doing that today? I don't know. I don't really think so, but we'll find out. I'm going to open my own nursery, and then I'll have a lot more, understanding of what the pricing is when I can take full semi loads. Currently, we're not really. I mean, we can get semis in, but it's not the ideal situation or circumstances. I don't have the proper storage facilities or space. I'm not set up for it, so we're gonna get set up for it. I've got permits. The construction's already underway. Honestly, we've got the egress built. The first culverts are in. We're filling in a big depression, and then we've got to build a retention pond, and then we'll get the foundation set for a building, and then pour the concrete, pop up a building, and the building is just a little storage warehouse, like a couple of garages with a small little office space. It's nothing fancy, so it shouldn't take very long. The permitting has been the worst because we're in a very high-end area. Our location is premium, I would say, and so the building codes and the enforcement is pretty strict, and it's taken a lot to get the architectural and civil engineering plans all put together. I've just ran into hiccups the entire way, which, I've been doing building for a long time. I know how building goes. It's like it goes up and down, and you're all around the place. It's emotionally a roller coaster. Good stuff happens, bad stuff happens. At the end of the day, it's a lot of headaches and probably not worth it, but I don't know. It's different building a home for yourself to live in when there's hundreds and thousands of homes versus trying to build a specialized facility to run your business out of. I feel like I don't have much option. I don't see myself building a home. In fact, I have the option of probably adding on to my current house because we're going to need more space as we grow our family. And I think we're going to move instead. It's like, why go through all that headache? We do love the location, and we absolutely love our neighbors. Like, our neighbors are the best. So you hate to go try and find a new neighborhood and all that stuff, but I don't know. I know a lot of the areas. Maybe I can get in by some people that I already know, and I'll know that we have good neighbors because I've worked for a bunch of them. So I don't know. Who knows? But I just wanted to come on here and provide some original content for YouTube. I'm gonna do this a little more often. I'm just gonna come ramble and babble and talk about lawns, lawn care, all that stuff. And before I sign off, I should probably finish the story about how I got started. So this ice storm, shut down the town for a week, and we just went and put out flyers and went door to door. We actually drove up to St. Louis and bought a generator because they were all sold out of generators at the local hardware stores.